Hi there and welcome to this video on how to play the Botez Gambit. Now I'm an expert in this gambit, so I'm going to go through this game that I recently played on chess.com. It's a 3-minute blitz game and I'm going to show you how to win with this gambit. So let's begin. We've got a reverse Queen's Gambit or mirrored Queen's Gambit, and yeah, we're trying to give away this pawn. It is accepted and we are going to try and get it back, and after we do, our opponent now has a Jobava London style fork in their ideas, so we need to try and defend against that. Now try and figure out what the best defense is here. I did not play the best defense. The best defense is just to push this pawn defended by the knight, and it comes with a tempo on the bishop. Instead I check. Usually my opponents jump back with the knight, which is good for me, but in this case they don't have to do that. They can just push the pawn and they still have this threat. Not only do they have that threat, but my queen is the only defender of the square, and the queen is not a good defender of anything really. So I try and bring my bishop back. The other downside to having my queen here is now, as we can see, there's not a lot of space for my queen, so it can get trapped. The computer saying that it's +4, basically because, you know, it can be attacked quite easily. So we do some development, and I try and castle and try and get rid of this fork threat by moving my king. And now after I develop, my opponent misses the idea just to attack this queen. I think my queen is going to be basically trapped. I can't go here or here. I basically am forced to move my queen back. And I mean, this is just not looking good for me. In this position, actually, the best move by the computer is this idea. Just give away the knight, but, you know, we get some compensation in terms of the pawns. And my queen gets a lot more breathing room. So things are not looking good for me. My opponent misses that idea, but I blunder straight back, giving him this attack. And then, giving away this fork. Now, here's where the Botez Gambit comes in. I move my queen thinking I'm saving my queen, but it can just be taken. I didn't actually realize in the moment that my queen is trapped. Okay, my queen is trapped because the bishop is covering these two squares. Knight's obviously covering this and attacking me. Pawn's covering this, queen's covering this, and the pawn is covering this. So my queen is trapped. So we have officially entered the Botez Gambit. Now, what is the strategy? Obviously, we're going to take that, but the strategy is we are playing a fast time control. Let's try and win on time. Let's don't resign, okay? And let's just try and make it as complicated as we can. Try and keep as many of our pieces on the board as we can, and yeah, try and win on time. So as you'll notice here, you know, I'm only spending a few seconds on my move. It's better to make a bad move quickly than a good move slowly, as we shall see. And these two pawns are going to be real big thorns in my side because they are pass pawns and they're going to try and go down the board to get promoted. And in this position, as we can see, I'm just trying to, you know, move quickly. We're getting a bit close on the time. He's at 2 minutes. I'm at 1 minute 49. I do win this pawn, and after he takes here, I can simply just take another pawn here, but I do trade here, which is maybe not the best idea. But, you know, we want to move quickly. We don't want to spend a lot of time thinking. And, you know, I keep trying to win this pawn, but it's gotten to a position now where, you know, my opponent's going to be thinking about getting a rook here and getting that pawn promoted. But we want to keep moving quickly. We've got now about a 10-second difference between each other. I'm trying to make things as complicated as I can, trying to keep as many of my pieces on the board as I can. I do take there, though. Because obviously I'm trying to just get rid of all the defenders of this pawn and somehow try and win it, because that will be basically game over if they can promote that. So we keep trying to add some attackers to that pawn. I do have some romantic ideas of maybe getting my bishop here and getting a back rank mate somehow. Okay, it is always worth trying to get those, you know, Hail Mary types of you know, checkmates. It has been done, but my opponent is, you know, prepared for that. But, you know, even so, let's give them checks. Let's get him thinking. As you'll notice, now I'm up on time. So we, in this position here, he's got that 10-second advantage. But look at this. Just to save his rook, he spends about, what's that, 14 seconds. And now he's down on time. So he's now feeling the pressure, right? Because you got to look at it from his point of view. He's won the queen. He should be way ahead. He should be winning. But now he's going to start sweating because he's like, actually, how do I win? I actually need to come up with, I need to actually do, you don't win because you have a queen. You've got to actually checkmate the guy. So he's actually maybe getting a little bit of stage fright. He's like, ooh, I don't know what to do. And I'm making it complicated. And I'm not making things easy for him. I'm throwing in checks. I'm making him do stuff. And now I'm winning on the time. I do give away my bishop here, but he's so flustered, he's not even seeing free pieces. And that's going to be a bit of a theme. I'm even giving away checkmates in 7, things like that. But he's not looking for that. He's just looking for easy moves, taking pawns and stuff like that. He's not thinking about the end goal of checkmate. He thinks he's already won. And I think that's the real advantage of the Botez Gambit, is that it's of that false sense of superiority. So we just keep attacking his queen. He does eventually win our rook, and now we're just down to a bishop. I do give away my bishop again. My opponent is so flustered. He's down to 18 seconds. I'm on 46 seconds, so I have all the time in the world in this moment. Let's make things really complicated for him. He's making just one move, trying to win my piece. And in this position here, he doesn't really have a plan. He hasn't come up with a plan. He's now down to 8 seconds. I'm just making, look at this. I'm making moves that are just a second. I'm not giving him any time to think. Because obviously if I spend 20 seconds in this position to try and make a move, that's 20 seconds he can also use to think. Okay, so the faster I'm moving, the more I'm putting the ball in his court, and he's going to have to come up with the checkmating idea. He just throws his pieces. I'm just going to make moves. Okay, now in this position, he's got checkmate in 2. Okay, so pause to try and figure out what the checkmate in 2 is. He obviously doesn't see the idea. He's just pushing pawns, and I'm giving checks. Okay, this is my top tip for you. If your opponent is really low on time, just give checks, okay? Because if he's making pre-moves, if he's trying to go quickly, giving checks is just going to put a spanner into the works, and he's not going to know what to do necessarily, and also ruins his pre-moves, okay? So just give checks. I mean, look at this. I'm giving the check and coming back here. I'm pre-moving that, okay? And I win on time because my opponent had 2 seconds, and he didn't see the idea of the checkmate in 2. So pause, see if you can figure it out. Have you figured it out yet? The idea here is that my king cannot move anywhere. The opponent has my king covered like that. These pawns cannot move anywhere, and I'm in Zugzwang. And I'm in such Zugzwang that white can do anything. White can literally move anywhere, and I'm forced to move this bishop. And no matter where I put this bishop, obviously if he gone there, I could have checked him again. But let's say he goes there. Anywhere I put my bishop, this is checkmate. Okay, I'm in Zugzwang, but my opponent doesn't see that, and I get the win. And this is why we don't resign. Okay, by all means, if you're playing Magnus Carlsen, Eric Rosen, Levi Rosman, if you're playing any of these guys, GMs, please, by all means, resign. It's the courteous thing to do. But when you're playing online and you're playing at low yellow, don't resign. Make it difficult for your opponent. Move quickly. Make him sweat. Make him work for that checkmate. Make him work. Okay? And that's my advice to you. Right. Hope you enjoyed that. Get out of here.